Good morning. I'm Jocelyn O'Neill and welcome back to the River Center's Garden. Today we are going to be talking about a tree that is important to the River Center as well as throughout the state of Florida. And that is the cabbage palm, or sometimes called the sable palm. It's actually Florida's state tree. Now the cabbage palm is called a cabbage palm because at the heart of the palm with the immature leaves, those are sometimes eaten and they have a cabbage-like taste. Now cabbage palms are native to Florida and as well as the coastal areas of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. The trees are a very important part of our local Florida ecosystem. The trees provide shelter for a variety of animals, from insects and lizards, birds, small mammals, bats, raccoons. And funny story is, yes, I've seen a raccoon up one of these trees before, so definitely that's true. Seen plenty of lizards up there as well. But one night we were out here, we were having a campfire, and I got buzzed by a bat out here. And that's an important thing, right? The bats need somewhere to live during the day. They don't just have bat houses anywhere. So one of the things that I tell people that have these types of palms in their yard is don't actually cut the dead palm fronds. So if you look at this one here or this one over here, you'll notice that we don't trim those dead palm fronds. They just kind of fold over and hang down. And that is what creates the habitat for the bats and the lizards and the insects, all those things that need this tree to live. And why do we like bats? Because bats eat mosquitoes. So if you have a cabbage palm in your yard, don't trim those dead palm fronds. Let the bats come and live there and they will help you with your bug problem. Some of the distinct features of the cabbage palm are, of course, it's very tall, it's very tree-like. The palms that you're looking at the palm fronds, are the leaves of the tree. But actually, cabbage palms are not really trees.
No way.
Because what makes a tree? Well, a tree grows annually and it has those rings inside its cambria, right? It has those growth rings that you can see. If you were to cut open this cabbage palm here, you would see that it doesn't have any of those growth rings. Also, it doesn't have any bark and it doesn't have any branches. The palm fronds, as I mentioned, are the leaves and the leaves only. They are not actual branches. So palms, these cabbage palms are actually more closely related to grasses than they are to trees. But of course they're nice and tall and they provide shade just like a tree, so we call it a tree. So the trees are actually well adapted for living in Florida. Every year we have hurricane season, right? Hurricane season just started yesterday here, and they are especially adapted to dealing with those high winds. So their trunks, because they're not true trees, are highly flexible, so they can bend in those high winds without breaking. Also, those palm fronds are thin and wispy, that helps to not have a whole lot of wind resistance. So the wind just kind of passes through those fronds instead of catching the wind and toppling the tree over. So let's talk a little bit more about those fronds. We did talk about how they kind of lay over when they start to die and create those wonderful habitats. But eventually they will break off. And when they do, they leave behind what we call a boot, or the base of the palm frond. And I wanted to show those to you right over here with this particular palm. So as you can see here, there are these boots that create kind of a crosshatch pattern here. And this is completely normal. You'll see this with a lot of different cabbage palms. Now eventually, as the tree grows taller and those boots age, they will fall off, and then that's when you get that smooth trunk that we have over here with the palm that we started out talking about today. So the boots on this tree have already started to come off, and you've got that nice smooth trunk there. Now in the springtime, these cabbage palms will put out a large flower arrangement. It's about thousands of flowers on them, and they attract all kinds of bees. And it's a really great nectar source for our local pollinators during the spring. And then obviously it'll seed and creates these small black seeds that will fall to the ground. And those are great food sources for raccoons and small mammals. You'll see them eating those seeds as well. Maybe even some squirrels, things like that. Cabbage palms have been an important part of Florida history for a very long time. The Native Americans had a lot of different uses for the cabbage palm. They used the wood or the trunks of the trees for construction of some of their buildings. And of course they used those palm fronds to thatch their roofs, similar to our chickee here. And they would build these chickee huts for their tribal meetings, for their homes, all different kinds of things, and they would use the wood and the thatch, the palm fronds, to thatch those roofs. They also had a lot of other different uses for the cabbage palm, including medicinal reasons. The seeds and the extracts were used to treat headaches, weight loss, fever. And in addition to the medicinal uses, they also use them to do basket weaving. They use the palms for basket weaving, as well as making brooms and brushes. The cabbage palm is a beautiful addition to any Florida garden. And I hope now that you know a little bit more about its history, that it is as special to you as it is to the River Center and to the state of Florida. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll talk about some other palms that are native here to Florida sometime later this summer. Have a great day.